The Secrets of Technology is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit GiveStarQuest.com. Hi, I'm Tom Bettinelli, and you're listening to The Secrets of Technology, where we discuss the technology news that's important to you from a uniquely Catholic point of view. Joining me today on the panel are Father Joseph Sund. Hey, Father.
Good to be with you.
And Tom Grelinger. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Today we're going to spend your money. No, we're going to save your money. Today's topic is personal finance apps. I didn't dig deep, but I feel like we talked a little bit about this topic sometime in the past. We've been at this for enough years that I'm starting to forget.
Yeah, I think it was 2023. I think is what I found out.
And things have changed since then. For one thing, the 900-pound gorilla in that space at the time was Mint, and that died soon after. It went offline in 2024, and something like 3.6 million people didn't have, were users of that and had to go find something new. And so the dust looks like it's settling out, that there are a variety of choices, a variety of things that have popped up since then. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this. And I have to admit, I've never been I've tried a lot of different personal finance apps, and none have quite stuck with me. Even setting up a spreadsheet, I've done that. I had Quicken Personal Finance at once, like in the dark ages, way back when they made a Mac app for that. I tried them all. I will reveal at the end of this episode what I'm using now, which is interesting. But in the meantime, you don't have to reveal anything, to personal here. But I'm just curious. Do either of you use any personal finance apps yourself, or are you looking for something? Tom, what about you?
I have used Quicken in the past. I've done spreadsheets in the past, so I'm in that same boat. I will admit I don't have a current app, and I'm not currently looking. So it makes it sound like I'm looking for a date. No.
Welcome to the dating game.
Right. So I think the hardest part was always just keeping things up to date. And I will say that probably like most married people, it can be very difficult to track if you're not single, because you're trying to coordinate two people's
spending habits. Yep.
And yeah, that can be challenging. And I mean, the other piece of it is, as you've noted, or as we're going to discuss, things have changed a lot. I mean, you still have Quicken, or Quicken Classic, which is probably what I would have considered what I've done before. But yeah, not at the moment. I mean, I use lots of financial apps, but not personal finance ones.
Okay. How about you, Father? I know life for a priest is a little different.
It's a little different. So, I mean, in the parish, I have to deal with Quicken, right, or QuickBooks, inside the parish thing, which is the beast of financial things.
Right.
In more than one ways, it's the beast. I am saying it's the devil as well. In the past, I had used Quicken. A lot of my stuff has to experience with the finance apps has to do with helping mom out. She uses a Mac app called Greenbooks that I'll touch on later, which is very simple, and it gets the job done. For myself, spreadsheets.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah. I think that's probably a very common thing for people, for people who aren't using one of these apps. They're probably either using spreadsheets or just working out of their bank account, like out of their bank's app, right? Is there money in there, or is there not money in there? And I think that's probably more common than I think most financial counselors would want us to be doing. But I think that's how probably most people do it.
Yeah.
So let's look at what we could do, how we can improve, perhaps, or just what if someone's looking to get their finances in order what they could do. So there's basically three things that have changed recently. One, pretty much everything is subscription now. The days of buying a box of software, that went with CompUSA. Like those days are long gone. Circuit City, you remember that? But for a while, there was a free ad-supported model of these, and that's what Mint was. It was free, ad-supported. You had to put up with getting credit card pitches, while you're trying to do, record your latest bank statement. But that's gone. Now it's straight up pay something every month. And in some ways, maybe that's better. It's more sustainable. Clearly, it wasn't sustainable for Mint, the ad supported. So maybe it means that it will stick around. The other thing that's actually happened is that one of the great innovations of online finance software was, in even desktop finance software, was being able to download the statements from the bank and not having to manually enter things. Mm-hmm. Gosh, that seemed like, the future has arrived. I don't have to do that drudgery all the time. And then it kind of got worse. It's broken now. Plaid was the main source of that. They were the main connector of the banks to the software. But because banks are cranking down the security, which is not a bad thing, but because they keep cranking it down, it keeps breaking these tools for getting stuff in. And so there's been a lot of the different software packages have come up with different ways of dealing with it, and some better than others. And that there's also a open source tier of these now of software, which is kind of interesting. You can now find serious budgeting apps on your own hardware for free. You can get it. So it's interesting. But the big problem is the platform problem. Almost nobody ships a real desktop app anymore. YNAB, Monarch, Simplify, Every Dollar, Pocket Guard, Rocket Money, Good Budget, they're all browser based. There are a few exceptions. Father, you mentioned Greenback, right?
Greenbooks.
It was Green something. Greenbooks. Copilot Money is one that I see a lot online advertised. That's a native Mac app. It runs on new stuff. Like you need a Silicon Mac or an Intel Mac with a T2 chip. It requires that security, and there's no Windows version of that.
Which is kind of amusing because Microsoft has taken off on the whole Copilot thing, or Copilot PCs. So when I first saw that and was like, only native Mac, I was like, oh.
Yeah,
okay,
not
so
Microsoft.
It has nothing to do with Microsoft.
Yes.
Literally.
It's interesting.
Microsoft, man, we're going back 25 years probably now, used to have the leading
Microsoft
product with Microsoft Money.
Yeah, yep, they did. Yeah. And that also died. Quicken Classic, if you could still find it, is still out there. It still installs on Windows and Mac. It's not really supported. It's not getting updates or features. But if it's still doing, like if you just need an online check register, then it does that.
I assume it's only Intel based Macs and not Apple Silicon.
I don't. Yeah, it's probably not native Silicon. I don't know. Actually, I would have to look that up. But if that's true, then the clock is ticking by next year. In 2 years, I think it is. Stuff that isn't written for Silicon won't run on Silicon Macs.
Yeah. Mac OS 28 is probably where it's going to die.
So they're going to stop doing next year compatibility layer. That you had before.
The warning started earlier this year about it because I have a printer app, a brother printer app that keeps popping up.
Right, I got an Arduino app. Every time I reboot, I get that.
Bother printers.
A bother printer, yes. So then let's see. There's also Banktivity, which is been around for 25 years, and that's Mac, iPhone, and iPad only. Actual Budget is available for Windows, Mac, and Linux. So go Linux, as well as I'm going to say it wrong, but I'm just so people know I'm saying GNU Cache, GNU Cache.
You got it right.
Okay, good. That's also Windows, Mac OS, Linux, BSD, and Solaris. So if you're rocking a Solaris OS out there, good for you. You can get that, and it's free. So
I'll just push GNU Cache right away. Like a lot of Linux things, it has a very high learning curve. That's all I'll say.
So if you're a Linux user looking for a finance app, you're probably okay. But if you are a Linux user, you have basically three options: Actual Budget, Firefly 3, and GNU Cache. They're all open source. But if you want something commercial product with bank sync and a support desk, you're out of luck. It doesn't exist. You have to go to the browser based stuff. Android is interesting. And there are very few banking apps with Android apps. You're basically stuck in the browser on your Android device. In fact, like Copilot, you could use through the browser, but that's still missing some features that you can get on iOS. So it's kind of interesting.
It's because Android users don't have money. So just kidding.
All those cheap Android phones. Actually, it's the Apple users who don't have any money left. That's what it is. So what's the problem? So is it a problem? I want to ask the question as opposed to say it. Is it a problem to not have a desktop app to be web-based? Is that lesser? What do you think? I mean, are we worse off for not having desktop apps?
It's kind of a give and take, isn't it? There's the access and the convenience you have by it not being desktop based. Mm-hmm. That I'm able to enter a transaction on the run and all of those things and not be tied to my desktop. But then there's the privacy and the security that you give up.
Right. And when your internet access is down, you can't get to it.
Right, but I mean, there's lots of things that we are pretty much web only. I mean, we access Amazon on the web. We access a lot of different things.
Email
on the web. So a lot of times it's email. But so to me, it doesn't bother me that much with web. I mean, everything is TLS, secure, encrypted, certificates based system of security. And so as long as you're talking to the right website and you're not susceptible to phishing, it should be. I mean, I don't see a problem with it. I mean, I'm actually kind of glad some of a little bit earlier when you were mentioning ad supported, that to me was a little more frightening because that means you are being sold as a product, or your data is how their capture of your data is how they make money. And so I'd rather have a paid web app than an ad supported one.
Right. The person paying the bills is the customer.
My dad used the legacy of Quicken, and I just remember times that those files would get to be a couple gigabytes.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't split it into a new file every couple years, it just build up and build up and build up. And so that's probably one of the benefits of things being online now, is that they have their own ways to make it efficient. And not have that slowness, because we had to upgrade his computers to be able to keep up with Quicken, which shouldn't be done for a lightweight finance app.
Right. So the way I want to approach this is from the user perspective, in the sense of for the different kinds of users. We do that kind of often on the show, and I think it's a nice approach, because then you can just say, what kind of user am I of the product, and then you can divide things up that way. And so I'll start with the couple who needs a system. These are people who they want to decide where the money goes before it goes anywhere. The money comes in. I want to know ahead of time its purpose, its use, and this is often called, sometimes it's called zero-based, or the more common term, envelope budgeting. And the idea is you have a series of envelopes, one labeled rent or mortgage, one labeled food, one labeled utilities, one labeled dining out, whatever it is. But you have all these envelopes, and your paycheck, when it comes in, gets divided into all those envelopes, and every dollar has a place. Every dollar that comes in goes into an envelope. It's accounted for before it even hits your bank account. And so that's kind of how most of these in this category work. And of course, the 800-pound gorilla in this space is YNAB, which I think it stood for yet another budgeting app or something like that. I forget. It doesn't actually work that way, but
you need a budget.
You need a budget. That's right. Yes, that's what it was. So this is browser based, works on everything. It's the most expensive of all of the ones we're going to talk about here. It's $110, $109 a year, or $15 a month, which is substantial. So their pitch, their slogan is every dollar gets a job, and it's basically a method with software bolted on, and it's kind of like a religion with people who are really into it. People will evangelize the YNAB lifestyle, and it's one of those things where it either works for you or it really doesn't work for you. I tried YNAB for a while, and it really didn't work for me for whatever reason. Our finances just didn't work with the way they look at it, and that made it difficult to work with. It does have all of the bells and whistles you expect. You have a bank sync. You can direct import from a lot of different banks, including US, Canada, UK, EU. But where you don't have those bank support, you have to import files. You have to upload files into their system, which is pretty much par for the course at this point for most of these. So the ideal user here is that couple who's tried and failed 3 times to get their budget under control, and now they're ready to change their behavior and make a new start. But have either of you tried YNAB or checked it out at all?
I've looked at it only because it's one of the things based on how the couple is that I'm working with in marriage prep. When I have young couples in marriage prep, one of the first things I work with them on is I don't make their budget, but I ask them to sit down and do the budget because one, the leading cause of divorce is not infidelity, it's financial.
Yes.
And so to get them communicating about finances, usually the other things like communicating about how many kids you're going to have is easier than communicating about financial. And so to be able to work through that with them and get them started on that. And I found that with the current marrying generation, YNAB's been probably one of the better apps.
It's nice that if you're just starting out, it's probably a good place to start. You need to start, if you're starting from scratch as a very young person, just out of college, maybe, and your first job, you're just getting married or whatever, doing something like this is probably a good idea. You have to make it a habit. It has to be ingrained from the beginning. It's really hard to adapt old habits to this, I found. And so it is actually probably pretty good for couples just starting out. Something like this could really work for them. Speaking of people who treat financial systems like a religion, there's Every Dollar, which is from Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey's the famous Christian financial guru guy. And this one is also web-based, but there are iOS and Android apps. There is a free tier. So YNAB is only paid. There's a trial, but it's paid. But there is a free tier of Every Dollar, and premium is $80 a year or $18 a month. So not too bad. The premium tier basically gives you Dave Ramsey coaching on your finances. Essentially, there's some other things, but and also syncing from your bank is also premium only. If you go the free tier, you have to hand enter everything, which is
the free tiers. I've played with this one. The free tier is very unimpressive.
yeah. It's basically to give you a taste, to see what's possible. You really need to do. You if you're going to do this one, you're going to get the paid tier and do that. The ideal people using this is people who've bought into the Ramsey financial worldview. If you've done Ramsey's Financial Peace University, right, that you are a natural for this. In fact, this is probably why this exists, is people went through that and then would ask, well, what do I use to track my finances? And they built the tool that they could then sell to folks, which is, makes sense. So for those people, or for people who want to get into zero-based or envelope budgeting without having to buy into the YNAB religion. So you get your two different religions you get to choose. You can be you can convert from one to the other. And then there's Good Budget, which also has a free tier, and it's similarly priced to the every dollar. It's $80 a year, but it's only $10 a month for premium. So that's a bit better deal. There are limits. So on the free tier, you only get 10 regular envelopes. Envelopes are budget categories, again, just to use the language. So there are 10 regular envelopes and 10 annual envelopes. So those would be like vacation, I would think, something like that. Something that's an annual budget.
Or
Christmas
like
presents.
You got car registration, which I have due coming up, or you have taxes, real estate taxes, or personal property taxes.
Right.
As an example of an annual thing.
Or you're budgeting to buy a car or something, and you're putting that in it.
Yep. Yeah. So that sort of thing. And it also limits you to 2 devices and 1 year of history. If you go for premium, unlimited, bank sync, 5 devices. So it's for most of these, you're going to find that the free tier is just enough to give you a taste, and that if you really want to use these tools, you're going to need to cough up some cash. It's the closest thing to literal cash envelopes. So it's manual entry by default, which if you're trying to feel every purchase, if you want to make buying things feel like, if I buy this, it's not just you have to do the work to enter it in. That could be an incentive. Like that could be a positive. So somebody who wants the discipline of envelopes and is suspicious of handing bank credentials to an app. And if you have very simple finances, that free tier is definitely usable. Your
autocomplete's going to really learn the word Starbucks.
Right. Dunks. This one is really, the free tiers is a lot of manual entry, the sync, and there's something to be said for both. So what do you think? Is opting for manual entry kind of giving up, or saying that I'm not capable of being disciplined if I use the automated sync? I mean, is one better than the other? What do you think?
I would say that most people are going to, after a month or two at most are going to say, I can't do this anymore with a manual entry. And they're going to be like, this is too hard. And I think that to me is the biggest reason why people stop using these apps. It takes too long. It's too hard. And anything to simplify that, I would think makes it easy. If everything imports from if you use credit cards, everything that you're using, all those transactions come in nicely categorized. You got your bank information in there. You can see how much that is. So you can see how much are you spending on gas, eating out, all those things. If you had to put in every single one of those, that would be difficult. And my guess is the more transactions you have, the harder it is. And I mean, if you have a large family, you're going to spend more. It may be lots of small transactions, but are you going to really want to track that your kids went and bought gas for the car, or gas for their car, or all those different things? And to me, it's one of those things. If this becomes a chore, I would see it would basically turn people off from using anything. Now, is there a case to be made for the manual entry? Oh yeah, definitely. I remember a coworker who got married. His wife brought in a lot of college loans, and yeah, he was tracking every single penny. And for something like that, maybe that's what he needed. Because if you're tracking every penny, you almost have to do it. You have to put your entry in almost every day.
Yeah.
To keep up with it. Because if you let it go, I'll do it next week. I'll do it this weekend. Before you know it, you're a month out and you're like, oh my goodness, am I going to enter all this stuff?
No way to catch up. Yeah.
No way to catch up.
Yeah. That's the big thing is it has to be easy enough to do quickly, regularly.
Yeah. When I did manual entry on mine, especially on Quicken, there was a lot of times that there'd be a 2-week blank and then there'd just be a line that reads manual adjustment.
Right. One thing I would suggest at this point, since we're talking about envelopes and stuff, is, and this applies to all of them, the fewer categories, the better. Don't over divide your money into like very specific, like have bigger buckets. I know it feels like, if I could only, I want to figure out how much I'm spending on lunches out at work. And so I'm going to have a lunch category, eating dinner out category, and have all these. That sounds good up front, but then you're going to spend a lot of time putting things into the right categories. And in the end is knowing how much you spent on lunches, but by, very specific amounts, is that worth the pain of entering stuff? So I think fewer categories is probably better. And every time you add a category, think hard about whether that could actually just be one of the existing categories. So I say that up front from experience. So there, another category of people who, another type of user is those who just want to see where all the money went. They have no picture of where the money goes. And so they just need tracking and reporting. The previous group was about budgeting. This is about tracking and reporting. This kind of segues from what we were just talking about. And so there are apps that are more designed for that. And so one of them is called Monarch, not the one that tracks the big giant monsters like Godzilla. This is a different Monarch. So you can hear about that on Secrets of Television, by the way. But Monarch is another browser-based, but it has iOS and Android apps. It's about $100 a year. There's like several levels. It's the core is $100 a year or $15 a month. Plus is $200 a year, and that's billed only annually. So it makes them pricier than YNAB, but that's also a pretty premium budget, a pretty premium product. So the pitch is it's the app that most people who got dropped by Mint when Mint closed, that's where most of them went. It has strong household features. So both spouses get logins. You don't have to share a login, and transactions can be. This is very interesting. Marriage counselors can look at this. Transactions can be flagged to review and assigned to a person. So you can find out exactly how much your wife has been spending at Starbucks, or how much she can see how much you've been spending at Starbucks, or whatever. So that interesting accountability there. That's who spent this money.
If you know the people, each other well enough, you just know which one goes to who, right?
Yeah. Well, my wife could look at the bank statement and know exactly which ones are mine. That is not hard to see. So their pitch for why pay so much for their product. There's no ads. They don't sell your data. It's private. Their only revenue comes from members, from subscribers, which is, a pretty good statement to say up front. I don't think anyone else actually says that. And so, as we were saying, if you're not paying, you're the product, and they're coming around saying you are paying, so you are not a product. So the ideal users here is a household where you have two adults who both need visibility, and neither wants to be the family accountant. And that often is the case. I found in most marriages, there's one person who ends up basically being the family accountant. And and it kind of makes sense because it really, yeah, same here. Tom raises his hand. Me too. It makes sense to have one person running that. So, and then there's Copilot Money, which I talked about earlier. This is the Mac only, the Mac primary. It's the only, there is a web-based version. So if you're a Windows user, you can totally subscribe and use this. It's not that you can't, but if you want a desktop version, you need to get the you can only be on the Mac. They also have iPhone and iPad versions, and this is $95 a year, or about $13 a month. It's the, as you might expect, because it's a Mac app, it's the best looking app. Design is everything, and it's actually has some smarts where the transaction categorization learns from your correction. So it will try to categorize things, and then you'll say, no, that transaction from there, that's a subscription. Put that in subscriptions. And over time it will learn. And so the longer you use it, the smarter it gets, is the pitch. So, which is, machine learning. We can call it machine learning. We don't have to call everything AI. Machine learning is good for some things, and this is a good use of it. So this, the ideal user here is clearly the all Apple household. So if you just have a Windows machine or an Android phone, this isn't for you. Quicken has a product called Simplify. This is, the web-based version of Quicken. It's about $50 a year right now. It's usually like $71.80 a year. Why? I don't know why. It's $72 Quicken into it. That's the standard rate. And you can only buy it on a yearly subscription. And this is the in my pocket style spending question answered simply. How much do I get in my pocket? And it's Quicken. It's got the name there. In Quicken is the grand old daddy of personal finance software. So if you want to have the name Quicken, this is for you. And it's simple. Like Quicken Classic has a lot of features. You can do investments and all that other stuff too. Whereas this is basic, checking and savings account budget, budget tracking or money tracking. And then the last one in this category, Pocket Guard. It too is browser-based, iOS, Android. There is a free tier. You only get 2 accounts and 2 categories and one goal. It's goal-based here. There are like, you have to have like a financial goal. So you'll probably quickly be paying $13 a month for the Plus, or $75 a year, or you could straight up buy it for $150 for lifetime purchase, which is, if this is your thing, then it's not a bad purchase. You've basically paid for it if you stick around for 2 years. Once you go to 3 years, you're making money at that point. So in the whole idea is there's one number, what's in my pocket, meaning what's left after bills and savings. And so the ideal user here is somebody wants to know, can I buy this thing today? Do I have money for this? After, I've got my bills to pay. Do I have money for this? So that's an interesting approach, but a valid one. I'm not saying it's invalid. It's just and it's probably, let's be honest, it's probably the approach a lot of people take to things. Do I have money to buy this today? If you don't want to have a company holding your financial life, and you want to control your own fate, Linux users, also Windows and Mac OS users, you can get Actual Budget, which is free and has the MIT open source license. So that's good. It's local first. It runs against a local file, works with no network at all. You can get a sync to a server optionally, which you only would need if you're doing multi-devices, like your phone and your computer, for example, and you want to download bank statements syncing through the system. So there's all, you can use Docker, command line, that sort of thing. You can build the source code yourself. So there's lots of different options here. It has optional end-to-end encryption. So, you can really, this is for someone who's really privacy focused, and you can run it on a Raspberry Pi, and it doesn't take serious hardware. So this is as it says, the ideal user here is the YNAB refugee who got tired of paying $110 a year and owns a Raspberry Pi. So, and if they shut down like Mint does, that you still have your software, or if a company shuts down, like Mint did. Firefly 3 is self-hosted, web only, which is interesting. So you need a server to run it on. You could run it on a NAS or a spare Mac or PC running Docker. This is classic double entry bookkeeping. This is, credits and debits.
I've run this before for about a year. Liked it. What I didn't like was the tax reports at the end weren't very impressive.
That's an interesting point. Yeah, you'll probably want to. Everyone's finances are a little different, and so you want to. That's a good point to make overall with this. You want to make sure that the very particular feature that you need, like good tax reporting or your type of tax reporting. I know priests have special tax reporting that they have to do. That's unlike, and I think unfair. It's unlike what most people have.
And it depends on what state you live in,
right?
How unfair it is.
Exactly. Just for folks who know, priests get treated like employees when it benefits the diocese, and like independent contractors when it benefits the diocese. So, at least here in Boston, that's how it's always been.
Which essentially means that you get taxed twice.
Right. It is. It is not fair to priests. I've always said that it is not right the way we do this in the church.
So it didn't give you a sense of serenity then.
It did not give me a sense of Firefly. Did not give me serenity.
Serenity now.
I felt like a leaf on the wind. Oh, wash. So another thing is that you need a web server, Docker database. It requires some infrastructure underpinnings in order to run it. But if you run Home Assistant in a Plex server and considers a Docker Compose file a good Saturday afternoon, this is the one for you, perhaps. There's GNU Cache, mentioned it before, runs on Windows, Mac OS, Linux, BSD and Solaris, like I said before. This is, again, more real double entry accounting, scheduled transactions, stock portfolios, invoicing, does the QIF OFX import. The QIF and OFX are standards, like financial document standards for export and import. It's like Microsoft Word DocX or Excel XLS.
Yeah, I think it's
XLSX.
Quicken interface file or something like that.
Right, and open financial interface import files, something like that. Yeah, and these are formats that have been around forever, and most financial institutions that let you download statements, many, I don't know if most anymore, but many will let you export in this. If they let you export in something other than CSV or PDF, it'll be this format. Let's put it that way.
GNU can do comma separated values as well.
Right. I think a lot of these will. And a lot I've found recently that a lot of the places that I do, the banks that I deal with personally, also let you download your transactions in CSV, which is good.
For the less tech-minded, CSV is a very simplified form of an Excel spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, comma-separated values.
Yeah, everything in it is separated by commas. So, and then, so GNU Cache is it's got more to it. So if you have like a side business or a rental property, if you need actual books, like a ledger, like an accountant would have, this has that for you. And then somewhere around the middle, there's Banktivity, which is a Mac, iPhone, iPad app. So, and they have basically three tiers of features: bronze, silver, gold, $60, $80, $100. It's a local app, a local file, commercial bank connections to 14,000 plus institutions. So if you're a Mac user who wants a real application instead of something in the browser and Copilot Money doesn't do it for you, you want to have everything local, this is the one for you. So, but if you're self-hosting, it means that you need to, you don't have a company backing up your file, as you said, Father, like the Quicken file, maintaining your files. You need to treat your, financial files like you treat your family photo library. Back it up into the cloud, because if you lose it, it's bad, so, so you're on top of that.
Right. Have a backup on 2 different backup methods and one removed from your primary place. Yep. So
3, 2, 1.
If your house burns down, you still have your files.
Right. Tornado comes through, your files are safe somewhere else. If you're a spreadsheet person, this is another type of thing. So you're just someone who likes spreadsheets. There's basically 2 in here. I mean, aside from Excel, but Tiller works with Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel. It's basically templates, but they're fancier than templates, and so it's like it creates a app within an app, and so it runs on anything that can run Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel. It's $80 a year, and it imports transactions and balances from your banks and institutions into your own spreadsheet once a day, which sounds pretty cool. And let's see, it's okay. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of extra features, but it does do auto categorization. It does some of that stuff, but it's it's basically if you live in spreadsheets like already, or if you're really comfortable with spreadsheets and the spreadsheet way of looking at things, something like Tiller would be the thing. And the fact is it's a file. It's a spreadsheet file. So it's a Google Sheet file or a Microsoft Excel file. If Tiller went away tomorrow, you'd still have your file. So it's, you're not dependent on a company. Lunch Money is another one. It's web first. It's pay what you want, but a minimum of $60 a year. So, or $10 a month. But you get every feature when you pay. And this one works in a bunch of different currencies, 160 plus currencies, including cryptocurrencies. So if you're an American living overseas, or you travel a lot, or you have a vacation house in the Caribbean, if you have a vacation in the Caribbean, you probably have an accountant on staff. But you know what I mean. If you have a sort of international need, this is probably one for you. Also, they have a developer friendly API. So if you're a developer, you want to write code against it, that would be good. And then if you're a person who's digging out of debt, so if you need a tool to help you pay off debt, and get out from under all your subscriptions, get a handle on all. I have a spreadsheet where I try to track my subscriptions. Subscriptions are the bane because they're so easy to get in and so hard to get out from under. It's so easy to accumulate ones that you forget about.
I'll say the API is something that can't be understated because of AI, right?
Right.
If you have an API, you're going to be able to hook it to Claude probably, and be able to pull that in to have AI give you financial advice.
Right. You could ask you questions. What's my net worth right now? How much do I owe on my mortgage? Great things like what ifs. What if I paid an extra $10 a month on my car loan? How fast would I pay it off then? That sort of thing is what AI is really good at modeling for you. So yeah, definitely having the API or an MCP is another word that they use now. So I was mentioning the debt payoff and subscription ones. So Undebted is free. It's a free web app. It offers 8 different payoff methods. So there's different methods. There's the snowball, there's the avalanche. There's for example, one of the philosophies is you pay the minimum on all your credit cards. If you say you have a bunch of credit cards you're trying to pay off, except for one, you pay an extra, $100 a month on that. And then once that pays off, then you take whatever the $100 plus the minimum you were paying on that, and then you put it on top of the minimum for the next one, and it snowballs. So that by the end you're paying a bunch of money to pay off the last credit card, and and so it'll go faster. So this offers a bunch of different methods for paying off debt, and it'll show you which debt's hurting your credit score the most, your blended interest rate, which is the interest rate when you combine all of your balances and the different interest rates for the different loans and credit cards. So some interesting data there. It's free, so you don't even have to sign up to get interesting information. You can just use their calculator to give you some information. But there is a paid tier that allows for bill tracking and calendar sync and YNAB integration and that sort of thing. So it's free. It holds the most complete debt planner going, and frankly, everybody could benefit from it if you get debt, which is pretty much everyone. There's Debt Payoff Planner, which is $3, $6, or $12 a month. It's mobile first. It's basically an app. If you want to pay off tracking on your phone with reminders, this is a good place for it. There's one called Coins with a Q instead of a C because this is the internet, and it's $3 a month for one goal, $5 a month for multiple goals, and it automates small transfers and applies them against debt. So this is ideal for somebody who does better when you don't have to be the one deciding when the money has to move, when it's automated for you. And then Rocket Money, which is become very interesting and maybe not in a good way. They have a pay what's fair premium, which is basically $7 to $14 a month. And the free tier lets you do subscription tracking, budgeting, net worth, some credit score. But the website version is premium only. You get, if you're a free user, you get access to a mobile app. You get an iOS or Android app, but that's it. Anything worthwhile is behind the paywall. So they also do this money bill negotiation thing where I had this for a while with there was a different service that Rocket Money bought that did this, and where they would negotiate on your behalf so for example, I had a newspaper subscription, and they would negotiate with the Boston Globe to get me a better rate on my subscription. And so they'd knock $10 off, but then they would take 35 to 60% of the first year's savings. So they would take the first $3.50 or $6 of whatever they negotiated and take it. But they only take it if they succeed in getting you savings. So on one hand, something is better than nothing. On the other hand, they're taking a big chunk of that savings.
I think I use this to get my, I have Sirius XM at like $6.99 a month for life.
Oh, wow.
And I think that was how I got that. So.
Right. Probably with the prior service, which the name escapes me what it was called. But yeah.
This was probably 6 years ago or so. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And now keep in mind that was after having XM since it was XM. We'll just put it that way.
Right. I was just going to look up what the name of it, because now it's bugging me. Rocket Money Bill Negotiation Service, because they did that for my phone bill at one point, and they did it for my cable bill, and so it was pretty good. But they bought up by Rocket Money and then went behind this paywall, and they kind of cranked up the fee that they were charging as well. So I was like, I didn't love it. There's no cancel button in the app, so you can cancel in your iOS settings or in the Play Store, but there's no easy way to cancel.
Truebill,
right? That was the name of the service. Thank you. Yep. So they make it hard to cancel, and any company that makes it hard to cancel your service is automatically suspicious to me, because if you're good for your customers, then you shouldn't be afraid of them leaving. So that's not happy about that. So in the end, you have 4 questions, okay? And whichever answer comes first decides the app. Do you run Linux? Then it's actual budget, Firefly 3, or GNU Cache, okay? And those are all the free, unpaid. Do you want a real desktop app? Copilot on Mac, Banktivity on Mac, Quick and Classic on either, Actual Budget on all three. Everything else is a browser. Do you want the app to change your behavior or just report your behavior? If you want to change your behavior, YNAB, Every Dollar Good Budget. If you just want reporting, tracking, Monarch, Copilot, Simplify, Pocket Guard. Who else needs access? YNAB lets you share one subscription with 6 people. Monarch is built around households, good budget. The free tier caps you at 2 devices. The cheapest serious answer overall is Actual Budget. It's free. It's on all the desktop app platforms. There's no company holding your data, and it costs you a weekend of setup. The easiest good answer for most people, Monarch if you want tracking, YNAB if you want a method. Now, I want to end here with what I do, which is something I've recently done. I've built my own. I've vibe coded an app using Claude Code.
Oh, haters are going to come out on Discord now.
Oh, we've already done that. Yeah. We talked about vibe coding recently. But I call it Bet Money. Bettinelli, my last name, Bet Money. You can get the pun. I built it myself for my uses, for my particular case. And this is, I think, again, this is a different conversation about the future of software, but it's not exactly easy, but it wasn't hard. I'm not a programmer. And so what it does is it pulls statements. I store all of my bank statements in DevonThink, which is a kind of database software on my Mac. It pulls, I can import the bank statements, the credit card statements, the other statements from there, the other bills from DevonThink. If they are in a CSV format, it just processes it. If it's a PDF, it uses my Claude API key to have Claude recognize it, brings this stuff in and auto categorizes. And if it doesn't have a category, if it doesn't have, a rule for that particular transaction, I can immediately assign a rule. And over time that will learn, through manual means, not automatic means, but manually, every month that those transactions come in, they will now get automatically assigned. It gives me reports, income, spending, categories, that sort of stuff. It is not full featured bells and whistles. It doesn't auto import from the bank's websites. It doesn't do any of that stuff like that. And I don't want lots of extra bells and whistles because I've learned I don't really need them. And it's just more friction to doing the thing that needs to be done. So it's built for me. And if I want a feature, I'll add it. So it's really good. And I actually ran Fable against it for security purposes, just because Fable is really good. Claude's Fable model is really good at security. So
so when you run, because I haven't vibe coded. I mean, my world of coding is a little bit is within the company. So
yep.
I mean, I use ChatGPT all the time, but so once you built the app, how does it get hosted? And this is probably a topic for a whole nother show, but
right.
How do you?
The basic answer is you can, if it's a Mac app, you can just save it in the. You can like on a Mac, you can have the Xcode programming environment, and you can download Xcode for free.
Right. Okay.
You don't need to be a paid developer. But I have, and you can then run an app unsigned on your one Mac, and without an issue. If you want to have it run on multiple computers and do any kind of syncing or anything like that, or have an iOS app or anything like that, you really need to get a paid developer account, which is $100 a year. I have a paid developer account through SQPN because, well, we're working on an app, which
I do.
I'm not ready to announce what it is yet, but we are working on an app.
I do most of mine in Docker. I just set up a Docker and then I and build things inside the Docker.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and you could if you've got a Linux, you can build it for Linux. You can build it for anything.
Right. Okay.
It doesn't have to be for one particular thing, and it will do scripts and all kinds of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you fired up an Apache web server on your device, and then then it's all a web-based app. But okay.
No, this is a real Mac app, and it's real, and I have it really signed. It's code signed through Apple. It uses CloudKit to sync to. I haven't put the iOS version on my phone yet, but that's my next step.
Okay.
But I do have another app that I use that does sync between my phone for just something different between my phone and my Mac, and so yeah, the vibe coding's real.
Oh yeah,
and it works. I can testify to that. It's pretty amazing, and really you're kind of limited by your imagination and by your ability to describe what you want in a way that makes logical sense for an app, if you know what I mean. It's
and your ability to call AI out when it's wrong too.
Right. But we talked a lot about this in a recent episode, so go check out that episode. And I feel like I want to come back and revisit that topic in about 6 months or so, because this stuff is changing fast. In 6 months, it'll be unrecognizable. So, yes. Anything else either of you want to say about personal finance apps or this category before we wrap this up? We will, of course, have a ton of links in the show notes to everything we talked about here. All right. And folks, if you have questions, if you want us to dig deeper in any particular area, because this is a vast area and we've only touched on a tiny part of it, there's investments and crypto and all kinds of other stuff that we could dig into with related to finance. Be sure to let us know, and we'll devote a future episode to that. But for now, let's move on to thank our patrons for today's episode. We'd like to take a moment to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create the secrets of technology. They're using their personal finance apps to make donations to SQPN, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And I want to thank today Catherine H., Mitchell R., Pat S., LR, and Julia S. Their generous donations at GiveStarQuest.com make it possible for us to continue the secrets of technology and all the shows at StarQuest. And you can join them by visiting GiveStarQuest.com.
Maybe you can make it an envelope.
Yes. Make StarQuest one of your envelopes.
And your local parish.
Well, yes. You give to your local parish first. That's but where we can be next. Like Mother Angelica used to say, put us between the cable bill and the telephone bill, or I forget how she put it. All right, so we're going to do our picks of the week. Father, what's your pick this week?
I'm just laughing at the 2 bills she used are now no longer bills people regularly have.
That's the funny thing. We have internet bills, but not cable. Yeah.
My pick of the week this week is the Brew desktop speaker. It's a Chinese brand on Amazon that someone mashed the keyboard and made a name for. But it has a surprising punch to it that I accidentally ran into. I bought it because it was a clip-on speaker to the monitor. I have my gaming rig set up and I wanted a good speaker. And this was cheap. It's like an $18 speaker.
Wow.
I usually only have to have the volume up to between 8 and 10 out of 100.
Oh.
Because if I turn it up too high, it becomes the whole house can hear it.
Wow.
And so I was just surprised at how much punch it had for a USB speaker.
Wow. I like the idea that it clips onto the bottom of the monitor too. That's
it has to have a pretty big bezel to clip on well. If you like my curved monitor, it doesn't work well. I have to have it on my secondary monitor that has a bigger bezel.
Right. Will it work on a curved monitor?
I don't think so. But also that same clip on the reverse side makes a really good stand, so it can just sit on your desktop.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks like with a lot of these Chinese brands for these sorts of things, Amazon has 10 different ones that look exactly alike. So they're probably all made in the same factory. So just buy one of these. But at $18, that's a pretty good deal right now. It's on sale for 18.
Connects USB-C or USB-A. So primarily it's a C and then as an A adapter.
Nice. and it's got volume up, volume down, and mute right on the front of it.
Yep. And the mute is not a software mute to the computer. It's a physical mute to the speaker, if that makes sense.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Because sometimes software mutes don't quite mute all the way. Yeah. Excellent. Very good. I like that. Tom, what's your pick this week?
My pick this week is the All Trails app website. I know, Dom, I think you picked it quite a few years ago, and I was thinking of, okay, what is something that I recently renewed at a discount, is the All Trails app. If you're not familiar with it, it helps to, it provides maps and guidance for literally probably tens of thousands of trails, at least across the US. I don't know how far it stretches globally, but the things that I like about it are, it will, if you track your workouts, for instance, with an Apple Watch, it has an Apple Watch app, it has the phone app, and it will actually feed your Apple Health, and those workouts. So that's handy. It'll just track it as a hiking workout. And obviously, like a lot of these money apps we've been discussing today, it has different tiers. There's a basic free tier, there's a plus tier, and then there's a tier that goes like a premium tier. That's that they recently added, I believe, in the last year. The thing that I appreciate about it is the offline maps. While I believe Apple and Google have improved their trail maps, I mean, All Trails is kind of the cream of the crop for getting good, reliable map information. So when do I mostly use this? Well, when I go on vacation is probably the most common time I use it, is to just say, hey, what are the nearby trails? Because to be honest, where I live, to find it, there's probably no decent trail. There are some decent trails probably within 5 to 10 miles of me, but it's not something I commonly do. So it's mostly for me kind of out of town trails if I want to go do that. So
now, Tom, does this tell you if it's public trails versus private trails and all that? Because the one bad part of Apple and Google Maps is you really don't know all the time.
This has detailed information about the trails in the area and the parking and all the stuff you need to know about the trails, usually. For most.
Yeah, and I believe I remember seeing that it would warn you if, oh yeah, that trail is closed or it's just inactive at this point.
Right. And even gives things like elevation. So, it doesn't just say it's a 2-mile loop. It will also tell you, but it goes straight uphill and down. Like, oh yeah, I don't want to do that one necessarily. It's got I think it's like in 200 countries. Like if you want to go hike in the British Indian Ocean territory, you're all set with this app.
Okay.
It's everywhere.
How are you hiking in the Indian Ocean? That's difficult.
Very wet. Yeah. What was the other thing? Oh, if you're involved in scouting, great app. But also you mentioned like the local thing. Actually, one of the things I really like about it is you'll be surprised, if you go to the website and you let it see your location, which usually they'll do location of your IP. You'll be surprised at how many local trails there are near you. At least for me, like in the area of the suburb of Boston I am, there are so many, like I've discovered places using All Trails that were amazing. And I'm like, I didn't even know this was here. Like this is so definitely, if you're all an outdoorsy sort of person, or want to be an outdoorsy sort of person, it's something to check out. At least get a trial to see.
Oh, yeah. One of the handy things that I found was sometimes there's trails where it's not like, oh, there's the trail and you can't miss it. There's trails like that cover through beaches and other areas where you just have, you could accidentally veer off and start going the wrong way. And the nice part is it will show you as you're going. Obviously, I don't recommend just being hunched over on a nature trail, looking at your phone continuously.
Right.
But it is helpful in trying to say, okay, where am I exactly going? I know where things are now. Some of what I noticed is that it would also kind of highlight where other people have walked. So sometimes when you're in kind of one of those areas, you'll see different little dash lines to follow, even though there's usually one that seems more obvious than the other. So
right.
And then finally, what I always encourage is they do have sales on their subscriptions. So look for those. Like, I mean, right now we're not yet quite thinking of Black Friday, but I believe they do usually have discounts up to 50% off for a yearly subscription, usually around the Black Friday time period.
And if you sign up for a free trial or just sign up, they'll send you offers in the mail, in your email to get you to sign up. So don't sign up right away. Like, sign up for a free trial, then let it expire, and then let the offers roll in if you want one. Excellent. Good pick. So my pick this week is a very Apple fanboy pick. So this is the Spigen Classic LS phone case for the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max. This is a case that's designed to look like a classic Mac 128K. It's got that styling. It's got the rainbow Apple logo. It's got the plastic that looks kind of like that beigey color that every computer was before 1997, 98, if you know what I mean, like before the iMac showed up. It's got the slight ribbing in the island, the camera island, the camera bump on the back, which is really tactile. If you get it at all neurodivergent, it's really nice to run your finger on it. It's really, and it's protective, but if you're at all nostalgic for classic Mac styling, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the old Apple IIgs, which was my computer. But
I just found my birthday present for myself.
It is nice. It is a really nice case to begin with. It's very protective. In fact, at times it's kind of bulky, but I don't know. I like it. And there's even a loop, a place to put a lanyard if you're a lanyard sort of person. You can sneak out. They actually even sell a special lanyard for it that has the same styling, by the way, that it does. So it's really nice.
Does it come in a slightly yellowed beige
with smoke stains on it from the cigarette smoke in the office? Yeah, I'm sure you could age it if you'd like.
So how does it do on the MagSafe side of things? I mean,
perfectly fine. Yeah,
okay.
It's got a nice strong MagSafe magnet. I've never had any issue of it falling off of a MagSafe connector.
And how slippery is it very slippery at all, or? Oh no.
In fact, it's because it's textured in that old that way that those old computers were. It's kind of it's not like a super it's not like super smooth, but it's also not super nubby or anything. But it's textured and it's got a nice hand feel. It's not going anywhere, in your hand. And,
okay.
But it's got that nice styling that says 1986 to it. So I don't know. It's kind of a nice retro computer feel. So
yeah, and it looks like it comes from a good brand. I mean,
Spigen's a good brand.
Spigen,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They've been around a while and they make a lot of different really good products. So, yeah. So, and I've had this almost since I got this phone last year. So, we're closing in on a year with it, and it still looks great. No, not a blemish on it. So, really nice. Excellent. So that's my pick, and that's it from us this time. We'd love to get your feedback on anything we've discussed this time. You can do that by sending us an email to technology@sqpn.com or visit the StarQuest Discord community at sqpn.com/discord. You'll find links from our discussion and picks of the week on our show notes at starquest.fm/TEC355. And of course, you can find all our previous episodes at sqpn.com/technology. Be sure to follow The Secrets of Tech in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, your favorite podcast app, or at our YouTube channel, youtube.com/StarQuestMedia, where you should always like, comment, subscribe, and do all the YouTubey things. Be sure to write a review of the show. That really helps us a lot. Write a review in Apple Podcasts. Give us a rating on Spotify, and share the podcast with maybe someone who might need a finance app. So that helps us grow our community and reach even more folks. So until next time, Tom Grelinger, thank you for joining me and sharing the secrets of technology.
Thank you, Dom.
Father Joseph Sun, thank you as well.
You're welcome.
And once again, I'm Dom Bettinelli. Thank you for listening to the Secrets of Technology on StarQuest. Here's another show on the StarQuest network you're sure to enjoy. The Secrets of Stargate. Find it wherever fine podcasts are found or at sqpn.com/Stargate.